I have a sad story to tell you. On December 18, 2017, I failed a class for the first time in my life. The days to follow, I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, and I was never the same as ever before. A moment changed everything for me in the upcoming days. Receiving all A's and a single F was heartbreaking. No one, not even my family members and close friends, saw this was coming. But I and the reality remained hidden. It was an English honors writing course where I procrastinated throughout the semester and then plagiarized. English not being the first language, it was always tough to write long papers since never used to it before, and hence the result stands. But on the other hand, in the same course, my classmate, who was tall, beautiful, talented student athlete, jumped off the top of a parking garage and killed herself. Sad, right? But why? A survey of college counseling centers has found that more than half of their clients have severe psychological problems, an increase of 13% in just 2 years. Anxiety and depression are the two most common mental health diagnoses among college students around the world. Is life really that bad for college students? As per my studies and research, let me break down the three main problems inside the darkest hours of a college student's mind. We live in a world where many kids post pictures of their unrealistic life on social media, and fellow students believe it. Ironically, this generation, who celebrates authenticity, has created one of the most inauthentic, unreal, and artificial subcultures everywhere. Viewers begin to feel that they are the only ones who are suffering and struggling while everyone else is doing awesome. Sadly, today's kids live their lives comparing themselves to the fake, edited social media accounts of others. We must remind that social media is only the tip of iceberg, hiding the reality of most users' lives. Second, we have not taught students how to evaluate mistakes or failures. Often, we have worked so hard to prevent failures that they are afraid of it. Getting a B can cause many students to fall apart. And as I quote, "What you and I would call disappointments in life, to them feel like big failures." We frequently fail to give them access to themselves, to learn from their failures, and even welcome it as they mature. We have unwittingly conditioned them to think that failure is something that has to be avoided at all costs. Unfortunately, this has cost them till the end. Third, on top of all this, today's students are part of a common generational lineage, as they have put themselves up for disappointment and even depression. It was an accident, but now it's happened to millions of college students around the world. Now here's the common narrative. Students' grandparents live during the Great Depression days. Their goal was to have a stable job and pay the bills. They raised their children the parents of today's kids to pay the same bills and seek a stable job. But it was the post-World War II where they had much prosperer life than the Great Depression days. The boomers' generation's expectations were met and surpassed. As a result, boomers today have raised their kids with higher expectations, causing their kids to feel spatial. On top of this, kids have more access to technology. That's where the problem lies. Thus, when a student's expectations met confront with the harsh realities, emotions suffer. Feeling entitled to a spatial life can be problematic, especially if your elder ones have forgot to tell you that life can be hard and disappointing. Life does not revolve around you. Life must not be lived in comparison to others. So, how can we lead them well? Let me tell you two short stories. Well, you guess these people, but let me give you some clues. Here's a photo. An immigrant who came from Ukraine to the United States in the year 1992. Being financially unstable, still at an early age, he started learning computer networking. At the age of 16, he got his first job as a cleaner in a small grocery store. Just when things were looking better, another tragedy occurred when his mother was diagnosed with cancer. With 2 years of hard study, he got himself in the San Jose State University. Being a college student and already facing the darkest hours of his life, now he chose to drop out of college. This person went on to work with Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer and later built the world's famous text messaging app called WhatsApp. I'm talking about Jan Koyum, the co-founder CEO of WhatsApp. Here's another photo. An adopted child by middle-class family. The student who got dropped out of college twice. During his darkest hours, he taught himself programming. He did various programming jobs later. At the age of 33, he quit his job to start his own software development labs. Today, his net worth is $58.5 billion and is the 10th richest man on the planet. The person I'm talking about, any guesses? Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle Corporation. Looking at the two simple stories, what we learn is that the way of living can be changed from your darkest times in life just by looking at the problems in different perspectives. Reflecting the background, now let me tell you my story. In the year 2013, I started working on science fair projects. The first project was, what if a world war happens? How would you stop it? It was one of the most dramatic projects I ever worked on. I was in grade 8 and I failed for the first time. In the year 2014, I designed another project, recharging batteries from Gobusa mixture. It was a project which I submitted to Google in the Google Science Fair. I went on to become the regional finalist in 2014. Now next year, I worked even harder. This year, I built a project called How Can I Stop Suicide Bombers? A project which changed many things initially, but as of today, I feel sad about the works I could have done for the Indian Army. In 2016, after this project, I got a chance to work with ISRO. I went on to design the Siachen wearing, a suit redesigned for the soldiers battling on the world's biggest battlefield. The temperature goes around -50 to -60 degrees Celsius in winters. If you get shot by a bullet, you need to get a remedy within 15 seconds. Due to the cold climatic conditions and to get the first aids or the medications, it's really tough to walk in the thick snow. The soldiers have to amputate their body parts, or in severe conditions, they even die. The challenge was in front of me. I redesigned the suit with 5 new features. First, in-building medicated packets, 2 on the upper chest, 2 on the lower abdomens. If you get shot anywhere in your body, the packet has got a blood sensor which detects your blood flow and bursts from inside. It heals the injury for the next 5 days. The bullet remains inside, but you can go to the hospital and take the further treatment. The rest 4 features are more amazing. Well, in the year 2017, after studying at the world's top university, I got a chance to work with the Ohio Drug Department, where I worked on a project of improvising the DUI census. Drinking and driving is a big issue everywhere around the globe. Having the technology and the manufacturing, I helped to inbuild sensors in the car's steering wheel. I later on went on to design this project, and it changed everything for me since then. In 2018, I had more question marks. But I don't have answers for those. In 2019, as I'm standing in front of you, I'm an author of 2 books, The Mystery of IIT Bombay Murders and The Story of My Life in 330. Apart from this, I had a really tough time. As I started my undergraduate studies at the world's top university, things seemed to look going better. Academics, sports, research, and other extracurricular activities, everything was working perfectly. But a college student always has a phase in his career when nothing feels to be great. And yes, I was having the hard time. I was actually facing the darkest hours of my life. During the break of 2017, after the incident I mentioned earlier, surviving the temperature, which I'm not used to before, it was always tough. Stuck with some financial problems, I never was to tell my parents that I was having a hard time. In the land of dreams, I survived on a dollar burger every day and staying anywhere on campus throughout the breaks, feeling lonely, cold, and sick. I felt the reason why most college students choose to exit life. But I never wished to do so. I always questioned myself and stayed determined. Focused on my challenge and knowing the reason why I'm in the United States, my regular routine continued with a 6 a.m. morning bath, chill conditioning, and gym, and then working on my startup, and eventually writing my life stories in a book later in the day. Today, I see that time frame as the toughest time, but the memories are fresh and inscribed in my book. Using this platform, I would like to urge every college student to take interest, to write stories about yourself in the hardest times. Secondly, if you're having hard time financially, try to find, try to be positive and find different ways of finding a job. Try to take interest in entrepreneurship and startups. Work hard. And as per my research and studies, the 3 key things to remember during the darkest hours are: put your social media in perspective, put your story in perspective, put your failure in perspective, hence redefine perspective. Thank you so much.